Hello and welcome to the Connected Community Podcast. Today, my guest is Patrick Fishley, and our topic is Iboga and Ibogaine. We really deep dive into Iboga. Patrick is a registered nurse. He's been in the field for over 30 years. He has extensive history of working with trauma, mental health issues, addiction, recovery, things like that. He is such an expert on this topic. Him and his wife, Michele, have a retreat center. They've been working with and serving this medicine since 2012. So today we talk about what is Iboga, where does it come from, who's a good candidate for it, who's not a good candidate, so who's contraindicated, what the typical arc and experience looks like, why it's so important to pre-screen and have post-integration. And we really just deep dive into this topic. And I loved my conversation with Patrick. So I want to thank you so much for being here today, for tuning in, and I hope that you'll enjoy today's episode. Hello, and welcome to the Connected Community Podcast, a place to explore possibility through mindfulness, movement, and self-discovery. Our intention is to deliver insight and inspiration while fostering conversations that are genuine, unfiltered, and deeply human. We hope you will enjoy today's episode. Hey, Patrick, welcome to the Connected Community Podcast. I'm so happy to be chatting with you.
Yeah, good morning, Nicky. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. I'm really excited about our topic. We're going to talk about Ibogaine and Iboga. And what I'm so excited about is that I know nothing about it. And I'm assuming that a lot of my listeners know nothing about it or very little about it. And so I'm going to ask you so many questions from the perspective of knowing nothing. And so let's just start with, like, how long have you been working with Iboga and what has drawn you to it?
Started back in 2012. Had some friends and they asked if I was interested in starting up an addiction treatment center using this psychedelic of Ibogaine back then. And of course, I'd never really heard of it. I was an ICU nurse for 30 years, an emergency nurse for 30 years. And that's one of the reasons they wanted me to come on board. So we studied it all up and we started our business there treating addictions, and it was like really hot addictions. Everyone coming in was hot, right? And it was crazy. It just interrupted addiction. It didn't cure it, but it interrupted. It just took the withdrawals away. It just like night and day. And people were having good success with it and things like that. And then within a couple of years, I was asked to facilitate medically for a traditional Iboga ceremony using the whole plant. So the difference is Iboga is has over 100 alkaloids, and Ibogaine is just one of those alkaloids.
Okay.
So at this setting with the traditional, it was within an hour and a half, and I had taken a little bit, and it just all of a sudden I had this vision, and it just fixed something in me that was from when I was like 5 years old, 4 years old. And it was like such a complete, profound shift. And I thought, no, this is the whole package. So I became a student of Iboga and really learning, really understanding, along with my wife, who's a nurse as well, Michele. And we started to go to Africa, train with them, learn about the Bwiti, which is the tradition, which means the study of life, and what this medicine, Tabernacle Iboga actually is, and what it entails, and what makes it tick. And so we've just been students of that for quite some time now. I mean, I'm retired from the hospital after 30 years. That's good, but all that critical care knowledge and practice got me ready for this.
Yeah.
Because you do need to critically think when you're using this medicine. There's a lot of contraindications. It's a really serious plant. It's a beautiful plant, a beautiful spirit, a beautiful medicine.
So when you say it fixed something in you, I would love for you to expand on that, because I find that fascinating, right? It's like
Yeah.
you had this experience and then it shifted everything in your reality and made you want to work even deeper, more deeply with it.
Yeah. So people come to this medicine, and, for old traumas and things like that. I was brought up in a great household, had an identical twin brother I played with every day. My older siblings were older, so they were in the house, just us. And it, it was amazing upbringing. I know trauma, nothing.
Yeah.
Not when I
Mm-hmm.
was small, anyways, right? When I got older, it's a different story, different podcast. but all of a sudden, I'm sitting there in this fire circle, and we've all taken just a little bit of medicine. I only took, like, everyone's getting a tablespoon to start off with the root bark. It's a dried plant, and I have no idea. I've done microdose like Ibogaine before for working doses, but I didn't know this. So I said, yeah, let's take a look at not even quite a quarter teaspoon, like
Mm-hmm.
just nothing.
Wow.
And, within a half an hour, my vision got enhanced.
Mm-hmm.
And then within about an hour and a half, this big screen just popped up. I don't know where, over top everybody who's in this great big circle of about 20 people. And I'm like, looking at it, and in that picture, I saw my twin brother and I. We used to put my dad's World War II Army clothes on, and we had these great big dirt piles, and in wintertime, there's great big snow piles. We go furrowing all inside, making little foxholes and tunnels, and we come back out and take little bits of fire pieces, and we'd make fire, and we'd have our lunch in there, like we were in the
Mm-hmm.
war, right? We were just playing war. It was really cool, and probably not safe, but really cool. This is like 4 and 5 years old,
Yeah.
and in that picture, it showed me that, and it showed my mom coming over and saying, "You guys don't go in so deep, because if something happens, it'll all cave in on you, and you could die.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful." And oh yeah, sound advice. So we just were really careful. Fast forwarding, when you're thinking about a 4-year-old brain, you figure you're comprehending stuff, but a 4-year-old brain doesn't think like our brain. Like,
Right.
oh yeah, that makes sense. I can understand. I mean, I thought I
Yeah.
understood, right? I thought I understood. And then it all flashed back before me, you know, when I'd go to for an MRI or a CAT scan. Like, I'm not claustrophobic at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really fit. So I got to move in a bit, and when I have my eyes closed, and if I open my eyes and it's right, I can see it right here. Then I'm like, yeah, this is close.
Mm-hmm.
Probably equating in the back. Oh, close and could mean death. And so I close my eyes and I'd be fine again. Not a problem. And things like that. Even my girlfriend at the time, she'd rest her arm on my arm as we're watching TV, and I just all of a sudden just throw my arms up like I can't breathe. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized in that moment when I saw that screen in that ceremony that that's what's been happening my whole life. When things get close, I push away. When things get
Mm-hmm.
close, I push away hard. I push away forcefully. And it's self-preservation. And
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that it probably saved my butt many times in my life, and it helped sustain me, but it wasn't serving me anymore.
Mm.
And that in that moment, it just went, it shifted. I don't have any of those anymore. And I even test myself sometimes, and I expand my arms out and in a CT scan, nothing, not,
It's gone.
it's gone. It's just in a
Mm-hmm.
moment, right? And that's how it can work with trauma. That's how it can work with PTSD and depression and anxiety. It can just, man, these are huge paradigm shifts that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Life changing. In that moment, I realized I really have to get to know this plant,
Yeah.
because it can help a lot of people.
So it allows you to see things from a different perspective. And then when you're able to step outside of yourself for a moment, then there is a shift that's permanent.
Yeah. And it's, you get to look at yourself not as a participant, but as the external observer.
Mm-hmm.
And quite often when we think about our old traumas or our old things that have happened, we're the participant, and we're attached to all the emotions and the anguish and everything that goes with it, which makes it hard. That's why we suffer. We suffer because of it. And when you're able to look like a third party observer, you get a clearer picture. I mean, how many times have we talked about something ourselves and we just can't figure it out, and you talk to someone else who's not really intertwined with you, and they go, that's what it is. You're like, oh my God, it makes sense. Same thing.
Yeah. What's a case that you've worked with that's been something that stood out to you the most, like the most transformation or the most profound thing that you've witnessed?
I guess it's really subjective or objective. They've all been fantastic. But one I saw once, and it was just so simple. This lady, she came to us, and beautiful lady, beautiful smile, beautiful voice, teacher of her philosophy, Judaism, to like 200 or more guests every Sunday. She would teach and teach and teach and sing and everything else. And so she came, and the first ceremony was hard for her. It kind of challenged everything, her belief systems, everything like that. And she didn't think she was deserving of everything that she was teaching. She did not believe it, even though you would not know it to see her. Just a beautiful, beautiful lady. And so the first ceremony was hard. Just a lot of anguish. She didn't like the music. It was irritating. And when this music, which is made for the medicine, is irritating, I'm like,
great.
It's trying to get someone to leave.
Yep.
That's what's going on. So, she even left that ceremony in the morning. And my wife was walking her back to her room. And she says, Michele, I got to tell you something. Michelle's like, yes. And she goes, well, the medicine spoke to me last night. And he says, I'm only supposed to tell you because you'd understand. We're like, but only you would understand this. So but I'm totally healed. I don't want to do anything more. Like, I'm good. I'm good. And my wife just like goes, well, that's awesome. Don't have to worry about anything. Just go back to your room and just kind of just be, no problem. Don't worry about it. And then 2 days later, time for medicine. She goes, yeah, no, I think I'm ready for medicine. And so she goes into medicine, and as soon as the music comes on, I go, you tapping your toe? And she's like, yeah, this music's beautiful. I go, yeah. And then, and she's quite into the medicine, and she calls my wife over and she says, I just realized if I can think a thought, I can unthink a thought. I mean, that's pretty simple. But for her, life-altering, life-changing.
Yeah.
Just because you don't think you deserve this or other stuff, you can unthink. You don't have to believe that story.
Yeah.
And it was simple, but a huge paradigm shift.
Yeah. She tossed out the story that didn't serve her anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I've seen things where people, they look like 20 years younger by the end of the 8 days because they were on meth or they were on heroin, and they just look like totally different people. It's just unreal. And that change will stay with you as long as you do your work.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take your choices away. So you have to embody the message of it. You have to embody this new change and this new way of being, this remembering of who you really are. If you just go, no problem, I'm good, I'm solid, I'm bulletproof, you're gonna get shot because you're not bulletproof, but what you are is you're renewed. It's like a rebirth. You're very vulnerable, and you're like a baby. So take care. Like that's why integration is so important. But yeah, those are a couple. There's like so many. Oh my goodness, there's so many more success stories than there was ever being an ICU nurse or an emerge nurse. That was all about death for the most part, and this is all about life
and rebirth.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the science behind it? Why is it working? What is it doing? How is it healing, especially in relation to addiction?
When you take this medicine, take Iboga, and you digest it, and it goes down, it hits your liver. That's where it's transformed, and turns it into Ibogaine, which is already being processed in your liver.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there, it goes up to all your neurons. You know, if there's excess, then it goes to your fat stores for later, you know, much like calories are used for ATP for energy at a later time. So it goes up to your neurons, and what it does is it attaches to all these neurons that are looking to be satiated, are looking to get their hits of, you know, adrenaline, dopamine, and serotonin, and a bunch of other hormones.
Mm-hmm.
And it attaches to them. And this Ibogaine molecule is big, so it just kind of goes in there and bullies its way and kicks stuff off. So all of a sudden, you've got this really great source at the end of these you know, dendrites and all these neurons, and they're feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
What it does is it helps repair all the neurons, all the myelin sheaths, all the coatings of the neurons. It helps recreate new pathways as well to establish even better connectivity, and it helps you to learn better, to have neuroplasticity.
Mm-hmm.
They did a research study at Stanford here with vets not that long ago, but a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And what they found was after one flood dose of this medicine,
Mm-hmm.
it repairs the equivalent of 1.347 years worth of damage in the brain.
Wow.
That's a minimum. They found in a few other vets who were in that same cohort,
Mm-hmm.
there was up to 3 or 4 times that amount.
What do you mean by damage in the brain?
Well, when we're subjected to pollutants, to chemicals,
Mm-hmm.
substances, malnutrition, things like that, it wears on our nervous system.
Yeah.
And so one of the things it does is when you get this dopamine, for sure, and dopamine is really the hormone of more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to get our dopamine hits off our phone, and we see it more and more now in this day and age than when I was young.
Yeah.
You know, you're too young to know that.
Thanks. I'll take it.
So we get these dopamine hits, and what happens when we're constantly hitting ourselves with dopamine from external points of view, it breaks down our own hormonal sense to create our own.
Yeah.
And manage our own dopamine, which makes us feel good, which makes
Mm-hmm.
us learn more, learn easier. So this repairs it, and it brings it back to a state before the substances hit it, before substances broke it. All through my nursing school and my nursing career, we had a lot of addictions. The belief system around like methamphetamine, with the crystal meth especially.
Right.
Once you smoke it, the brain stops developing. And I always used to preach to these young guys, make sure you're at least 25, know how to do your books and taxes and do things in life before you start smoking it, because you're not developing. And we see people who are addicts as adults with mentalities of 16-year-olds, 14-year-olds because of it. Now, I've seen many people come who had crystal meth use, and after 2 full flood doses, they're functioning at a way higher level now.
Wow.
Because they're able to relearn things. So that's huge for the addictions. And it's for the substance, it's huge.
Yeah.
That world. But for the other kinds of addictions too. Addictions to porn, addictions to working, addictions to negative thinking.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's as big of a problem as any heroin.
Yeah.
This negative thinking bias we have. So it helps us. It helps us to get past it and work on it. But like I say, we have to practice those answers. We have to do it because it doesn't take our choice away. So just as this neuroplasticity from this medicine will help you learn new things, develop new ideas and habits, it can help you relearn the old things even better too.
Right.
And I did that.
Yeah.
I did that, because my first time I laid down, I said, I'm going to stop smoking. Maybe I'll stop smoking. And I didn't want to smoke for 2 weeks. And I found myself in a situation where I'm like, I'm kind of bored. Everyone's smoking. I don't know. Maybe I'll just vape. I'll just vape for a bit until I'm more physically and psychologically ready to do this.
Yeah.
I'd been smoking for 50 years. Okay. And what happened was within one day, I was back to 2 packs a day.
Wow.
And then I went to to vaping. So I would vape these great big battery things, the equivalent of 2 packs a day. And I was smoking a pack of cigarettes a day.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. So,
Addiction plus.
well, it is addiction. It's huge.
Yeah.
And it's that neuroplasticity. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was able to do it even better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really being more aware. I really learned that in
Yeah.
that moment, so.
I say this a lot on the podcast is like with psychedelics in general, the psychedelic is one experience and then the integration is kind of where all the learning takes place. And I always think of walking down a well-worn path, and the old way is the well-worn path. And then the new way has got like grass and things on it. And you need to walk that new path over and over and over and over again to build that new neural network. Otherwise you can always, that old path is waiting for you and it's there and it's familiar and it's drawing you back, but you have to make that effort to go down that path that hasn't been worn down yet until it becomes natural. And I think that's a misconception a lot of people have with psychedelics. All the psychedelics out there is like, oh, I'm just going to go and do a mushroom journey or a Iboga journey and it's going to heal me. Like I'm going to go and the medicine's going to heal me. And then there's no work for me to do. And that's such a fallacy in thinking.
It is. So I'm going to give you an illustration here. I had some young guys come to me once, not that long ago, and they had an addiction to Hape, and they were doing it like 6 to 8 times a day.
Wow. Yeah.
And like for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. So for people don't know that, that's a tobacco snuff from the Amazon. Yeah.
And thank you. And it's it's in a ritual setting, has its purposes and everything else like that, and that's good. But they were just abusing it.
Yeah.
And this critical negative self-talk and all these things. Anyway, so we did our ceremony, and he says to me, I just spent 13 hours seeing myself in this critical component where I'm my own critic, and it's all this stuff is just terrible, and then I'm seeing what this tobacco is doing to me and everything else. And he said, so what do I do moving forward? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I was told by a plant facilitator a couple of years ago that I should really know my trauma and really bask in it and really understand it. I said, well, yeah, you should understand your trauma. Sure, you should. So what should I do? I said, well, you've taken some Iboga, you start walking through this process, and you stop. You're like, what is that smell? And Iboga says, look down. You look down, and you're standing in a pile of your own shit. Right? Just because it's all about our own shit.
Yeah.
You're standing in this pile of your own shit. He goes, what do I do? He said to me, what do I do? I said, well, you have 2 choices. One, you can bask in it and get to know it, rub it all over yourself, and really go at it. He goes, oh.
Yeah.
He's like, oh. Or you can step out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, step out. So
Right.
he steps out. I said, okay, see, you understand now? He goes, well, what happens if I step in it again? What do you think you should do? Step out of it.
Yeah.
That's obvious. So step out of it. He goes, how long do I have to do this for? I said, until you're no longer stepping in it.
Yeah.
And eventually it gets easier to navigate through these landmines in this pasture.
Yeah.
He said, because the one thing is for certain, life will not stop lifing. You will always have something there. I don't care how much money you have or what you do or what your purpose is. There's always going to be something in the road that you have to stop, look, decide to walk around or jump in. Life is about choices, big, fat, juicy choices. And that it's very much like moving forward from addiction or depression, all these different diseases, of the mind and such. We have to make choices because Iboga won't take our choice away.
Yeah.
It only serves to empower us.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I think the psychedelics tend to give us like a glimpse of possibility and like what could be or how things could be different. And then, right, we have that choice of how we're going to integrate it once we see that.
Yeah. And integration is everything, you know?
Yes.
I always say it's like you have this experience in this medicine plant. It doesn't matter which plant it is. So you have this experience, and in that experience,
Hmm.
it's actually quite magical, the way these plants and stuff work. But if you don't implement it, if you don't have integration,
Yeah.
then it becomes no more than just a magic trick that happened back there, and you're still stuck in the same space, or worse.
Yeah.
It gives us, like you're saying, it gives us the opportunity to understand and to see, so we can make proper choices along the way. We can see how we've been treating ourselves. Iboga is a big medicine of the mind that
Yeah.
lets us see what we're doing, how we're treating ourselves, how we're not connected. And that can be hard. That can be hard for a
Yeah.
lot of people. Some people say, oh, this is such a hard medicine. I don't know, it's so dark. But it's your stuff
Hmm.
that's in there.
Right.
When I say it's your stuff could be stuff that you've accumulated over the years, you have traumas with, but it could be your ancestors, and it's in your DNA, it has come through, but it's still your stuff, it's in you.
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of, okay,
Hmm.
why are we here? Why are we coming to medicine? Are we coming to heal? Are we coming
Yeah.
to look at stuff? And that's what we need to really have our intentions right. We do a lot of counseling with people before they come,
Yeah.
because you'd be surprised still people like, yeah, well, I've done ayahuasca and 5-MeO and done this and had all these fantastic hallucination things and stuff. Yes, because you're using DMT. They
Yeah.
all have DMT in it. It's like, okay, sure. I heard they can have visions on this medicine. So it's like, can be beautiful. So yeah, I want to have that. And I want to talk to my
Yeah.
ancestors. I want to go to the moon. I want to do all
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
things. And Iboga is like, and
Nope.
Iboga can do all that. You can do all that. And sometimes Iboga says, like, yeah, it's not what you need right now. Right now, you
Yeah.
need to look at yourself.
Yeah.
You can't love others until you love yourself. You can't go further unless you're able to further yourself. It's just all these things, and then they have this disappointment. Oh, maybe it's just, I'm broken. It doesn't work for me. You get to
Yeah.
have all these big shifts and stuff. So it's about reminding ourselves, why are we coming to medicine? What is
Yeah.
actuality? So preparation also a huge proponent coming to medicine. If you're not properly prepared,
Yeah.
if you're not prepared for a marathon, you're going to pull a hamstring, something else, your back,
Yeah.
you know. And so same
Yeah.
idea.
I do tell people when they are interested in walking down any kind of plant medicine journey
Uh-huh.
that they really should be prepared to open the door to their demons and look at their like deepest, darkest, hardest, shadowy pieces, because you never know when they're going to emerge and you have to be ready for that. And if you're not ready to do that, and it takes a certain kind of person and time and place to be ready to like blast through the darkness, it then you're not maybe ready, because there's potential for that. And like you're saying, that there's an effort that is required, where you can't just go and receive and then it all like magically disappears. It requires a lot of diligence and a lot of effort on the front end, prepping and getting ready for it. Then the ceremonies, to me, a big piece, but a small piece. And then the integration is the massive chunky piece,
Yeah.
where that's where the effort's required. And I don't know if it's been your experience with Iboga, but I feel like with a lot of the plant medicines, you have an experience. Maybe it was beautiful, maybe it was difficult, and then integration happens. And I feel integration is almost always like this slap in the face. Like you think, oh, I've got it, I feel good. And then integration's like, oh yeah, you think you've got it? Well, we're going to test you, and we're going to test you really hard, really hard, really,
Yeah.
really hard.
Uh-huh.
And then that's the test, is like walking through that integration, getting through
Yeah.
the other side.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure if Iboga's like that too.
Oh yeah. Um, my teacher in Africa, in Gabon, Papa Stan, he says, Iboga's not for the lazy.
Yeah.
It's not for the lazy.
Yeah.
They're going to want to come back to where they were happy, and you have to really be diligent moving forward. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's not for the lazy.
Yeah. And that's why I think support after some kind of experience, actually before, during, and after, are crucial. Otherwise, I think there's a recklessness in it and a dangerousness in any kind of plant medicine when you don't have that.
Right, right. So, we've been doing retreats since 2012, and we've done them, all over Western Canada. We had a retreat center in Costa Rica for 2 years, and we've done lots of places. And when we were in Africa one time, I was in the men village, and my wife was in a woman's village doing her initiations. I was doing mine, and so there's about 30 kilometers in between, and we woke up the next morning and we called each other right away. It's like, I just had the craziest dream. She's like, me too. But we both had the same message. We need to go home now.
Wow.
And build community.
Yeah.
So we went back, we finished our initiations, we went back to Costa Rica. We had folded up our business and were gone within 5 days from there. And we came back to Canada and we started our online community, Soul Reflections community. Didn't know how to build community, but we know we have to, because if you don't listen to the medicine, it gets really loud. So we did, and we're at a place now where we have our preparation community, which is an intensive preparation community with a workbook to help you move through, and how to journal, and insights and ideas, and how to set intentions and questions, and daily and monthly and weekly prompts and journal prompts and advice and different things to get you thinking, right?
Yeah.
Towards medicine. And then, of course, while you're in medicine, you have the whole community doing that. And then when you leave, we have the integration community, and people are in that. They're in it for a year, and they can be longer. But the idea is you're in it for a year, and at least, and there's a integration playbook, and we have lots of workshops and different breath work. We have breath work for people. We have different things like that come up, and guest speakers and whatnot like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's just about encouraging people, helping people engage. And of course, it's the participant is 110% responsible for their own engagement and their own integration.
Yeah, their own healing.
You can't say, well, my facilitator didn't come. No, that's not what it's about. You have to be accountable for your own. That's the integration component that's so important.
It is important. Yeah. I would love for you to share a little bit about, how do you take Iboga? You talked a little bit about that, how long the journey is, what the typical arc of the journey looks like. What would somebody expect if they've never had that ceremony, and if they think they might be a good fit?
Okay. So when we're talking like Iboga, we're talking about Tabernacle Iboga. There's Bokanga, there's a bunch of other types and sister plants. And, they have Ibogaine in them, but it's not as much. They don't seem to have the, I guess, for lack of a better word, the psychospiritual component that this medicine has. Like the spirit in this medicine is much stronger for all that than the other ones. So when we take it, there's, we'll start and we'll take it dry. And what it is they take it ceremoniously, uncover the root of this shrub. And the shrub can go up to about 30 feet tall. And they take the roots out, and they shave the top layer, and then they shave the inside layer. And that's where you have the scrapings for the Iboga. Sometimes you eat that raw. In Africa, we eat it raw. It's kind of wet, and it's okay. Or else a lot of times we have it dry. You take it and drink it back with some water. It's a little bit bitter because it's reminding you this is medicine. And so that's one way of taking it. What we do then usually is we've been in a fire circle talking, and as the night's progressing, they might take another little handful, 200 grams, whatever, just to get medicine into them. And all of a sudden they start feeling these shifts. Start feeling their eyes are a little more sharper, their vision is expanding a bit, might feel some tingling through their body, through their arms, legs. You might feel some uneasiness in their stomach because it's moving down through. You might have a little tinnitus. You might have a temperature dip or a temperature raise. You might start feeling really tired. You start slouching back on their seats, and you're like, okay, it's gone. You know, um, it's not really a medicine that just gets you high. I've seen other times too where the medicine's like everyone's in a super joyful mood and laughing and everything's great because that's just the way it wants to move that night. But then we'll lay them down on a mattress and we'll give them a little bit more just to get them into a therapeutic window. And that's where we do all our work. With Iboga, it's a long acting medicine. It can be 24, 48, 72 hours long.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Whereas Ibogaine, 12, 24 hours. And now that's not full on hardcore all those hours.
Right.
It's always like we start around 9 o'clock at night in the evening, go overnight, and by 6 in the morning, you're feeling much better. You're through the first phase. You're through that like really huge acute phase where it's a little difficult walking and things like that. And the visions are really intense or whatever. And then we walk you back to your bedroom, and that whole day is really an introspective day. We call it our recovery day, our discovery day. Because where you discover, you're reading the book of you. Things are going to come up so much and show you what you've been doing to yourself, how you've been acting, and what you've been thinking, and all these different things. And I know with the Ibogaine community, they call it a gray day. It can be really gray and feel depressing, but I think that's the way you're looking at it, because it's showing you, right?
Yeah.
So in that, there's beauty. So that goes on for 24 hours.
Wow.
And we give you something to help you sleep that night. And we only give you things that are not medicated.
Yeah.
They're not contraindicated. And so they work well with the medicine. And then the next day after that is
So it's a stimulant.
It is a stimulant. Oh, yeah. And then the third day after that is our integration day. And most people feel pretty good. I would say 90, 95% back to where they should be, which is fine. And then we repeat it again. Like Ibogaine, like I say, moves through a little quicker. It doesn't have all those other alkaloids that are in there. So by the next morning at 6 in the morning after medicine, you're ready to get up and move around. There's still that gray day, or they call it gray day or discovery day, where there's a lot of introspection goes on with it.
Are you feeling pretty tired and sluggish and run down and a little bit depleted that day?
Yeah. I mean, it really feels like you run a marathon.
Yeah.
I mean, you've literally done nothing but sit in a chair and lay on a mattress.
You're exhausted.
And you're exhausted because like I said earlier, it attaches to the neurons, which run through your whole body.
Yeah.
It's working on everything. And that's, one of the reasons why you're kind of shaky when you're moving and things like that. It's working on things.
Do people get sick?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
But when it's working on it, it just feels like you've did this huge workout, this huge run, and everything's lit up, and you're like exhausted. I just want to sleep. And people say, I just want this to be over. I said, no, don't say that, because it won't be over.
Yeah.
You can't come in and
will
boss
it
it around. You can't boss it around, and can't fight. Don't fight it. So do people get sick? Yeah. So maybe I'll rephrase that. They don't get sick. Sick would indicate that something's wrong.
Right.
So what they'll do, they can have purging.
Purging, they vomit.
And purging is so different than throwing up.
Yes, it is.
All thrown up. We had people throwing up, and it's like, ooh, it stinks. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
And the purge is not like that.
Yeah.
And and so there's stuff that comes up, and sometimes it's just like the hardest stuff that comes up is that stuff at the very base of your abdomen. The bottom chakra there, where it's just like sludge coming up. And seen all kinds of things and forms and shapes, and like big gelatinous liver-like stuff come out. Like, wow, So that's one way to purge. but not everyone actually purges like throwing up.
Right.
Some get up and go to pee a lot, or have bowel movements,
Yeah.
or they yawn, or they cry, or they just the legs are shaking, moving, that kind of purging. So there's a lot of energy that shifts. That's 100%. Energy is shifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then who's contraindicated? Who should not approach this medicine?
Okay. So the list is so huge. It's so huge, and it's so different. It really boils down to a case by case, individual by individual, looking at them, assessing them properly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why someone like, say, myself, who's a critical care nurse, who's ACLS certified, TNCC certified, Emerge certified, addictions, mental health certified, can do proper assessments to
Mm-hmm.
see where they're at. Rule of thumb is if there's a Gita handbook still, it's floating around, it's with the Global Ibogaine or Iboga Therapy Alliance. And it has a list of inclusions and exclusion criteria.
Yeah.
And it will tell you if you have bipolar, you're not capable. If you
Yeah.
have schizophrenia, it's a no. If you have this or this or this, it's a no. And I tell people who are starting up, who have medical people, but they don't really know medicine, just go by that. You can't go wrong. If it says no, you say no. You're not getting yourself in hot water.
Yeah.
But for myself, there's case by case, individual by individual. I've treated quite a few people with schizophrenia or with bipolar and other things that would otherwise be a no-go. We're
Yeah.
on beta blockers or other different things like that, which is contraindicated. But I've treated them because I can tell where they're at, that they're safe enough, there's nothing's going to happen wrong. Because medicine to someone with schizophrenia who's not controlled, who's it's just not a candidate, you can put them into psychosis and they won't return from that psychosis.
Yeah.
Because it's a mind medicine, so we could be really careful. And the onus is on us as facilitators to do our due diligence and understand this medicine, understand the body, understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I guess, is a good rule of thumb is most mental health medications are
Yeah.
contraindicated.
Okay.
You got to be off them, at least 2 weeks, before. And it's not as easy as people think because there's a tapering process. And
Yeah.
that
Right.
can take months,
Yeah.
depending on what it is and the dose. Mental health meds, some cardiac meds, you got to be careful. It's part of our pre-screening, like antidepressants and SSRIs, things like that. Anything that interferes or elevates your serotonin levels
Yeah.
can put you at risk now when you get Iboga on top of it for
Mhm.
serotonin syndrome. And that can make you really sick to in the hospital dying. So part of our pre-screening is to do a comprehensive blood work lab tests. And I
Yeah.
look at all their systems to see that everything is working properly within the right parameters. And it's not just that it falls between these two parameters, but where are they in there? Are they almost at the top of it or at the bottom of it? It really tells a story. And
Yeah.
then, either EKG. And EKG needs to be read by like a cardiologist or a practitioner who's certified to do so.
Yeah.
How will they know if they're certified? Well, they won't sign it if they're not certified.
Yeah.
You need that because it's for your protection. So you come to someone like me, I can read them. I'm licensed to read them.
Yeah.
Then you know that someone over there on your side's read it and I've read it. And, because he might, if he says, oh, it's all good, I go, no, there's actually some pieces in here that are going to be elevated too much with our medicine. We need to look at this again. And usually we can figure it out by working out a plan on how you can get to the medicine without that being an issue. Usually a few tweaks in your diet or supplementation, things like that, or lifestyle. So it's super important, with the pre-screening. And of course, a lot of psychological and physical assessments.
Yeah.
Keeping people hydrated, that's a big one too. People run into a lot of problem when they're at the retreats, not drinking enough. They get dehydrated.
They probably forget.
Well, there's been deaths from dehydration,
Okay. Yeah.
and then people on the other hand are drinking so much. I'm like, no, 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 no. You got to slow down, because you drink too much, it just neutralizes everything and you become deficient too. So,
Hyponatremia.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
If anybody's looking for a facilitator and somebody's not doing pre-screening, post-integration, if they're not doing a EKG and they're not doing blood work, then you should run.
You should run. Seriously, you should
Yeah.
run. Or if the person says, the person you go to, you say, this is what I'm looking for. And they say, oh yeah, since I've been gifted the ability to heal, and I can heal you.
Oh
Run,
yeah. Yeah. That
run,
one.
run. There's some memes all over the internet now. I just love it. I've been gifted with this, and I can do this, and it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, we like myself and my wife, we both have been ordained Gangas, and Gangas are just, everyone can be a Ganga when you take initiations in Gabon, but there's different levels of it, and different levels of spirituality and courses and other initiations you go through. So we've been ordained as healers and seers, but I don't heal anybody.
Yeah.
They come to me, and we help them get and support them. And with the medicine, they heal themselves.
Yeah. 100%. Yes. The best teachers are the ones that teach us how to heal ourselves. We are our own healers.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of commercials on social media for a place that says, come and get your miracle. 98% of people get the miracle when they come. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's just a red flag.
Yeah.
But people buy into it because,
You
they
want
want to be
to.
fixed. They want to get better. Right.
Yeah.
And
And the lazy way too, right? Like, I'm just going to sit here and do a medicine journey. It's going to fix me. I'm going to go to this retreat and I'm going to come back and I'm going to be healed without actually putting in blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. Right. And sometimes that's the way they're thinking. Sometimes because they don't know any better, they haven't been told. That's not how it works. Because someone's just interested in, oh, come get my money, come do this. The rest is up to you, whatever. Oh, it didn't work for you, because you weren't trying hard enough. So let's gaslight these suckers. You weren't listening to me. It's all your fault. And it's not. Everybody, no matter where they're at in life, doesn't matter what kind of addiction it is or what you're going through, you're enough.
Yeah.
You are enough the way you're sitting right now. You just don't remember.
Yeah.
So it's about remembering.
Yeah.
We've been doing a series of retreats, and we've labeled them Awakening the Blueprint.
Yeah.
It's about remembering. And that's what this medicine does. It helps you remember who you are. Innately, all medicines help you remember who you are to some degree. For sure they do, at different times, right? And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And that, we're all created in the Creator's image. We're creators. We can do anything, everything. You've got to start loving yourself, having that inner connection, trusting yourself. And they'll say, well, I don't love myself, or I can't trust myself. It's okay. We got 8 days to work on this.
Yeah.
And in 8 days, you can do like 20 years worth of therapy.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
It's crazy. But then it's only sustained in that long arc over years by good integration.
Doing the work. Yeah.
Right? By good
integration. Yeah. Patrick, I've loved this, and I'm going to drop your links in the show notes, but just tell people how they can connect with you and find you and do some of your retreats. I think if anybody's wanting to do it, you'd be a great, safe source to do that with.
Thank you. So you can email us at info@soulreflections.net. You can find us on IG and Facebook under Soul Reflections Iboga. So you can DM us through there. And of course, our website is soulreflections.net. And underneath our pictures, there's little buttons. You can push that and it takes you to our calendar, and you can have an initial consult, which is free, but we can answer any questions or concerns. And even if you just want to phone up and say, hey, I've been on this journey, and this is what I'm feeling like, and this is what I'm going through. We love to hear from people.
Yeah.
We never get a chance to talk enough about this medicine or to enough people because it's just part of what we do.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's an honor.
Thank you for listening to the Connected Community Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, and subscribe. I can be found at www.nickyyoga.com, NICKYYYOGA.com. Until I see you again next week, I hope you have a beautiful day.